Greetings, fellow cosmic explorers. Welcome back to our channel, where we dive deep into the mysteries of the universe. Today, we have something truly extraordinary in store for you. Join us as we embark on an enlightening journey with the esteemed Andromedan extraterrestrial contactee, Alex Collier. But before we begin, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the bell icon for notifications. Oh, and don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section below. Let's get ready to expand our horizons together. Sit back and relax and enjoy Andromedan contactee Alex Collier, diving deep into another great rapid-fire question and answer session.
If you want to post the questions, I can just run down like we did the last time, where I can just go through all the questions. I don't know. Do the questions come up? Oh, yeah, they do. There we go. So JP, why don't you just kick back and chill, have a cup of tea on me. And if you want, I'll just go through these questions real quick. I was wondering if the upper echelon of Judaism and Islam know the truth. I can't say about Islam. Judaism, yes, they do. They absolutely do. The Torah talks all about extraterrestrials and flying carpets and flying machines, and who the gods were, going all the way back to Babylon and Chaldea. Yeah, they know. They totally know. They write it off as fancy, but the really astute Hebrew scholars and rabbis, they know. They absolutely know. Any insight on why the Schumann resonance spiked at the same time 4 days in a row? No, I do not. I don't even know what time that was. So thank you, Jackie, for sharing that. Have you been asked this question before? Do you think JFK Jr. is still alive? I have no proof, but I do. I honestly, genuinely do think maybe he's still alive. There are a lot of things that point to it. That would be just absolutely spectacular if he was. But that part of me, there's a part of me that says yes, unequivocally yes, and it's sure. I guess we'll find out. And I know that this has been addressed by the Q team, where the question was, is JFK Jr. still alive? And the response was no. But you have to understand that JFK Jr. became JFK when his father passed. He's really no longer Junior. So maybe it's a technicality and they answered it that way. We'll find out. I think it would be spectacular if he was, and I'm hoping he is. And I do think he is. I do. Let's see. What other benevolent entities are helping human beings? Oh my God, there are so many. Let me go through some of the questions and I will end on that. Who's that? Elaine, okay. Experiencing interdimensional glitch between dimensions, attempting holding. Okay, I'm not there with that. The regressors supposedly are not leaving without a fight. That is true. We'll help them. There are some, the Pleiadians are from Aldebaran, Cirrus B, that is true. This is from Firefly. Oh yeah, I mean, they had an opportunity to leave. They had an opportunity to go. They agreed to terms to do it, and then they reneged, which is what they always do. Okay? And essentially what they were doing was testing the resolve of those representing us in the negotiations. And they underestimated the resolve, and now they're screwed. Now they can't go anywhere. They're going to leave in body bags or boxes. That's what it's come to. So be it. Okay, so be it. Dr. Sherry Tenpenny states the 6-month window. Okay, I believe that's the doctor from Dallas, Tenpenny. Dr. Sherry Tenpenny. She's the one who's treating people with HCQ. Do you have any insight on all the earthquakes? No, I don't, other than, there's a lot of cosmic energy in gravity waves moving through space. And, we're traveling across and through the photon belt and the galactic plane. It's a very high energy place. It's kind of like New York at rush hour. All that energy, that's what it's like. But you know what? Considering everything that's going on, I think the Earth is holding up pretty well on all the stress and everything that's going on. I believe we're getting a lot of help and a lot of assistance with this. I really do. There haven't been huge dramatic Earth changes, and I'm hoping there won't be, because that will only complicate matters. I know we're being buffered, right? I know we're being buffered, that we're being given a cushion, a layer of a very soft energy through this transition that we're going through. The battles are out in space or underground. Okay. So from the surface to the upper atmosphere, there's this buffer, this buffered layer. We should be grateful for that and take advantage of it, and spiritually get grounded and get centered and work on yourself. And when you do your prayer work, or meditation, focus on everyone's highest good. Okay? And everyone's highest good is always freedom. It's always liberty. Okay? Always is. So I just want to remind you that. Okay, let's see what else we got going on here. Have you heard of a very tall, dark-skinned race of healers? No. I don't know everything, folks. I just don't. My head would explode if I did. What do you think about this known as the archons? I've dealt with that a long time ago. Let's see. Do you believe in the spiritual shielding, the psychic self-defense of any other malevolent? Yeah, we've talked about that as well. If you're grounded and you're centered, okay, if you're grounded and you're centered, and you are full of love and benevolence, okay, that is a shield. That is no different on a spiritual level than having your body alkaline on a physical level. The two are the same, okay? It's just that on a physical level, when your body's alkaline, you don't get sick. You just don't get sick. And when your spiritual level is at that place, you're not being attacked, okay? They're both dis-ease. George Adamski in the 50s is one of the first blood aliens. Yes. Okay. That's kind of really old news. You have an interest in the Oak Island mystery? Yes, I do. I think it's absolutely fascinating that ramps and treasures were being buried all along the coast of Nova Scotia at a time when the Crusades in the Middle East were occurring. Because, I've known that the history we've been fed is just absolute rubbish. And even before that, you had the Vikings down here. You had the Egyptians and Phoenicians here in the United States, which was then not the United States, but in North America. We know that the Chaldeans, the Sumerians, the Phoenicians, the Babylonians, were crossing the ocean, the Atlantic, looking for minerals, for tin and copper. Some of the copper that was used in the Middle East came from the Great Lakes area of North America, from mines there. The DNA is exactly the same. So, Columbus didn't discover shit. He didn't discover shit. It's just all fake news, it's all a fake narrative. Okay, talk further about Jesus. I heard you say he was in the Middle Earth. When did you hear that? Why is the currency? Okay, this is about Iraq. They just they they have gotten rid of 90% of the corruption. They have a brand new government, and they're ready to turn the page. And that could happen at any time. They're trying to synchronize this thing all at once. Okay, they're working it. They really are. They're really, really working it. And one of the beautiful things about this movement of flipping the currency worldwide is that all the wealth that the deep state and the banking cabal has will all go away. So those that were first will be last. Those that were last will be first. It'll be a seesaw. Okay? It's a brilliant move. It's just there's a lot of moving parts to it. Is it true that the cabals control the new? Yes. It's all about the money, and it's all about spiritual darkness. What we call Satanism is really their real proper term would be dark magic or dark energy. The story of dark witches and good witches. That's what we're talking about. Okay, energy is energy. It all depends on how you use it, and so. Nationwide's. Okay, I can't go there. Tunnels cover the playable. Yeah, that's out there. This is an interesting question about archonic influence and the negatives and Draco and the such. Let me come back to that. I don't want to get to some of the other questions. Gavin Newsom extending it 3 months. It's just a power play, folks. That's all it is. It's a power play. They're going to force you to vote through the mail here in the United States so that they can try to steal the election, because it's all or nothing for them. Not to mention the fact that the last 3 governors California's had, they have robbed the state blind. Billions and billions and billions of dollars are missing. And apparently someone in the Department of Justice knows. So they can run, but they can't hide. Question about the A's healing me physically. If it were up to M, it would have happened. But that level of intervention by the council has not been approved. That level of intervention has not been approved. So I just don't go there anymore. I just do the best I can. I try to eat well. I take a lot of supplements, herbs, drink a lot of water. Coffee's my vice. I get 2 cups a day. So almost always organic. And I walk a lot. And Merlin's got me on a real short leash now. And I'm limping 3 miles a day. All the walks, I'm limping 3 miles a day. So, we're getting there. We're getting there. Like all of you, I'm doing the best I can. The financial stress sucks. been dealing with that for many years. I'm interviewing for work. I am. I'm definitely interviewing. I had 4 last week. They're not in person. They're online. But 65% of Colorado still shut down. So it's just nuts. Let's see. When the soul takes a body, are there any sort of rules? I didn't get the manual when I came in either, so I don't know the answer to that question. Jordan, Mr. Jordan, or Miss Jordan. So I don't know. That's a really great question, though. Is it true the Vatican is where esoteric tools, spells are archived? I think there's a lot of stuff there. What about ET information? I've shared this story a couple of times over the years, but I can remember the first year that Oprah Winfrey was on television, and I was living in California at the time. I had chased a girl to California. And she had on 2 priests that worked in the Vatican. One of them was Italian, and the other one was an American. And she was interviewing them because they had written a book where I think 10,000 copies had been sold before the Vatican had it pulled from the shelves. And the crux of the story was that the Italian priest knew one of the old-time elevator operators. And the elevator operator was in his late 70s or early 80s, and they were retiring him. And he didn't want to retire. This was his life. And they were forcing him to retire. And he was very upset about it. And he was sharing that with the Italian priest. Now, the American priest was there at some conference, and he knew the Italian, and the American priest spoke Italian. Anyway, the elevator operator said, look, I want to show you something. And he took them down into the catacombs. And he opened up a door, and he had a flashlight, and he walked in, took them down this hallway in the catacombs. And they described what it smelled like, the must, and there were some very interesting smells apparently. And he took them into a room, and in the room there was a pile of crystals that looked like crystals that were aglow. They were just a pile of them glowing up. And they weren't plugged in anything, they were just glowing on their own. Kind of like some kind of phosphorus. And they said, well, what's that? And he said, those were taken out of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Okay, they had lit up the path in the Great Pyramid of Giza, and they were taken out. And then they saw in the middle of the floor all these what looked like computer parts and mechanical parts with wires and plugs on them and all this stuff. And he said, well, what are all these computer parts doing here? And the old man said, no, those were found during the Crusades. They were the wreckage in pieces of crashed UFOs that they had found in the deserts. Now, there were wars, here on Earth, the Atlantean War. There were other wars between warring families of Enki and Enlil. There were also the Pyramid Wars that Marduk started, that went on in what we now call the Middle East. And they found this rubble, this wreckage, and they had brought it back. So there's a lot. There's an awful lot. And it was either, I'm almost positive it was her very first year of doing talk show. She was thin as a rail too in those days. Okay, so let's see, what else do we got here? What time? Okay, I got 20 minutes. Yeah, I got 20 minutes. Being told that every human being died, did not remember their life, passed through technology. I don't know if that's a really good question. I don't have the answer to that. But then again, there are kids being born that have their memories today. There are other people who have near-death experiences that are coming back and their DNA is altered. They have a 3rd strand. Some have a 4th, some have 6th strands DNA that are alive and active. They have full cognizant memory. I don't know why it's unfolding this way. I just don't know. I'm sure there's a reason for it. And one day we'll all be read into it. Is QAnon, Q Team our galactic family? I don't know. I don't know. Have I talked to M lately? No, I have not, Mark. No, I have not. I look for him all the time. Like when I go to sleep at night and I travel, I look for him all the time. Yeah, I know. I want to go home too. I have a question about death when we die and I turn around, face the eternity universe, and I wish to go home. What exactly will happen? Well, I'm told that you will travel home. You will travel to your point of origin before you came to Earth. That's what I'm told. I'm here, so obviously I haven't done it yet. But that's what I've been told, and I have absolutely no reason to not think that that's what's going to happen. It only makes sense, you know. All the broken pieces find their way home. What is my opinion on 5G? I think it's way too dangerous, and we know so little about it to even screw with it. That's what I think. You know, and the fact that they're doing so much of it in secret is a huge heads up for everyone. I know that in Brussels and a couple cities in the Netherlands, they turned it on and it killed thousands of birds, like right away. That can't be a good sign. How does reincarnation work? Oh. Like how many souls are born of humans come down from 11th? I have absolutely no idea of knowing that. I have absolutely no idea. I don't know how to answer that question because I simply don't know how it works for everyone else. I don't know what everyone else's agreements are. So that's difficult. Just say. That's a really good question, though. And how many are from 11th? I don't know. I think the majority of us are 5, 6, and 7. The Jedi Masters are probably from 11th. You know, I use that just as a point of reference. I don't believe they're called Jedi Masters, but you know what I mean. To your best of your knowledge, are the Star Nations assisting the White Hats? Yes, I do. I do believe they are. They have a lot of knowledge about the Earth that we don't have and we've never had. What kind of ET is Lucifer? Good question. I don't know that he's the reptilian that they say he is or would have been. And frankly, I don't know that his name is Lucifer at all. He's probably human looking. Okay. A lot of people have their own opinion about all that. That's fine. I'm not going to get in the middle of that. The Lucifer thing, I mean. World economic collapse to be expected. It's been collapsing. But it's a controlled demolition. You see, it's a controlled demolition. The dark side was going to do this anyway. They were going to demolish the whole thing anyway and force everyone into not only war but starvation, so you'd get the chip. You see, but the White Hats are several steps ahead, and they're demolishing it themselves and replacing it with a different global currency that's asset-backed, and that literally will reset and forgive everyone's debt and start everything over. This is not a dark hat operation, this reset. This is not a dark hat operation. You need to understand that. This is a white hat operation, okay? Even though at some point we're going to have to evolve beyond currencies. We're obviously not there yet. But so many things will change when we literally bankrupt the deep state and the dark cabal, the banking cabal. They have used their money to enslave, to withhold, to deny all kinds of technologies that would have moved humanity hundreds of years into the future. They themselves are using it, but they won't let anybody else do it. They'd rather us suffer because they get off on punishing humanity. They get off on it. That's their shtick. Look what they do to kids. Look what they do to the trafficking of young men and young women. They got to go. They absolutely got to go. And they're going to go. Because not only are those of us who know done with this, but apparently so is most of the galaxy is done with this as well. The Nevada earthquakes are those deep state activity of the underground bases there. I think many of those are being shut down and tunnels are being closed off. Maybe hidden laboratories, children prisons. I'm not read into all of that. I have a hard time sleeping at night now knowing what I do know. I don't know that I want to know everything. Especially all the dark stuff. Give me the light stuff. I'm good with that. You got to remember that, back in 91, 92, 93, I was talking about all the missing kids then. Took a lot of shit for it. A lot of shit. Except from state policemen, which is interesting. Most of the people that approached me and had a kind word to say were all state police officers. It's like they knew. Had one or two FBI, one retired CIA, was like Bravo, but 90% of them were state police officers who knew shit. They knew stuff was going on. Why are so many afraid to talk about Nasara? I think nobody wants to jinx it. That's what I think. What do I think about close encounters of the fifth kind? I know they're real. I know they're real. Okay, that's the same question. Who was Thoth? Well, you spelt his name right. You can certainly research it. Let's see. Lawrence Wright about the Merkaba. I don't know anything about that. Okay, I think I've covered most of the questions. We still have 14 minutes or 12 minutes. Oh. Okay. Friends, humans, galactic beings, those of us that are present here on Earth, we are in uncharted territory. Whether a scenario like this has happened before on Earth, in Earth's history, I am completely unaware of it. But I don't think so. I don't think so. Sitting back and waiting to see what happens is never a strategy. Okay? And it's not a good strategy, even if it were. Because in sitting back and waiting for something to happen or waiting to see what others do is not being self-reliant, and it's not being proactive. Your reality is a reflection of what's going on inside of you. All of us is. All of it is. The earth is a result of a combination of many different soul groups that are here experiencing a physical reality. We have such power in intention. It's an unfathomable energy, frequency, when you focus your intent on what it is that you really want. Now, the beautiful thing about really knowing what you want is that you've clarified it, you're focused on it, and you're emotionally engaged in the end result. And if you've ever read any of the ancient spiritual books, and that there's many, many, many of them that talk about this, when you're absolutely crystal clear about what you want and you put the emotion behind it of having already achieved it, it happens. If you stay with it, it happens. Someone that I was led to read when I was a kid, my dad had 4 sisters. One of his sisters, her name was Mimi, Aunt Mimi. And everybody called her the witch, but she wasn't. She was just awake. She was really awake, spiritually. And she gave me my first Neville Goddard book. And it blew me away. It blew me away. So I grew up with Neville Goddard, and and he talks about these, and there are many others that talk about this. Emmett Fox and Florence Scovel Shim. There are many of those spiritual writings available. Being in control of your focus is remarkable. It's incredibly powerful. We have to learn to do that here. It could be that some of our ancestors in the distant past had that capability. But if you were to come in here and want to control and enslave a population, you would not teach them how to do that. In fact, you would want them to be scattered and unfocused, because then they'd be very easy to control and manipulate. Using mind techniques. But anyone who is grounded and focused on what they want and is intently and emotionally calling it forth, that person cannot be controlled or manipulated, because you know what you want. And you are experiencing the power of that spiritual energy and you calling forth that which you want. When you've experienced something yourself, when you've experienced something like that, no one can tell you any differently. You know that you know. You know that you know because you've experienced it with every fiber of your body. Enough said, right? Enough said. And then you know. And when you come from that place, then you can teach others, maybe your children or others, or at least get them to look at the idea. You know, I've said this once, if I've said it a dozen times over the years. We are all forefathers and foremothers. Every generation is a forefather and a foremother. Okay? We lay the tracks, we lay the groundwork, we fix, we patch, rebuild the foundation for future generations in our lifetime. And that's a mindset that our humanity hasn't had in a very long time. That every generation is adding to the layers of brick to a strong foundation for the future generations behind it. We haven't had that kind of consciousness. The Native Americans used to have it. Whenever they would make a decision, they would try to see out 7 generations. Okay, that's old school. And, you know, that comes from the older ancestral cultures. Our modern societies have lost all that. It's get what I can today, you know, and maybe I'll leave it to the rest of them in a will or something like that. That's not building stability. That's not building for future generations. That is not building on the law of consistency, which is not just spiritual or knowledge, but it's also on the physicality of the world that you live in and lived on. You know, we are all responsible for those types of contributions. When this reset happens, the new philanthropy is going to be extremely different than anything we've ever seen, because many people have this consciousness now. Okay, they have this consciousness, and the level of philanthropy that's coming is going to be amazing. It's going to cause paradigm shifts on its own. Okay? So, you know, I know there's shit, but recognize it for what it is. Find your sanctuary, create your sanctuary, be your sanctuary, you know, and do the best you can to calm those and love those around you, and explain to them that this will pass, that this is a migration, this is a transition from dark to light, and what that means. Okay? Again, there's no scenario here where humanity doesn't come out on top and is healed and finds its voice and its place in the galaxy. But we have got to stop all the bullshit with each other. We just, you know, it's just nonsense. But it's going to play itself out. It has to. Okay? We're going to be okay. There's going to be some rough patches. I'm dead serious when I say this. Very serious. I shouldn't use that serious. I'm very serious. Get yourself some food storage. Okay? It's going to be a hot summer, and we just don't know how long it's going to last. It's all or nothing, this battle for the planet and for the soul of humanity. It's very, very serious business. And we're going to experience it in one way or another. We already are. We already are. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for supporting our little webinar and our, you know, the website and James and JP for what they do. You know, we're not big dogs in any way, shape, or form. But we really do appreciate you more than you know. Okay? And take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. And we'll be okay. All right? I love you. And on behalf of myself, James and JP, we deeply all care and appreciate about all of you. You guys are the best. You rock. And we feel blessed to share this time in this space with you. See you guys later. Take care.
Thank you for joining us on this awe-inspiring cosmic adventure with Alex Collier. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to show your support by giving it a thumbs up, subscribing to our channel, and clicking that bell icon to receive notifications of future uploads. We truly value your engagement, so please take a moment to share your thoughts, questions, and ideas in the comments below. Remember, it's through these connections and conversations that we continue to grow and evolve. Until our paths cross again, keep exploring the cosmos and embracing the infinite possibilities that await us. If you would like to see the latest information from Andromedan contactee Alex Collier live via video stream, we host an online seminar 3 times a month on a Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. For more information and dates of upcoming online seminars, please visit alexcollier.org. Please click on one of the above videos to seek more of Alex Collier's knowledge.